Days of Our Lives. Spoilers for Wednesday, June 30th, July 4. Reveal that Johnny DiMera will fear a prison stint could be in his future. After Johnny gets arrested for E.J. DiMera's attempted murder, he'll worry he could go down for a crime he didn't commit. Duel fans know E.J. can't remember that night clearly, so he's jumped to some wrong conclusions when it comes to Johnny's guilt. However, an honest father-son conversation may clear things up for E.J. in the coming episodes. Once Johnny swears he didn't pull the trigger, E.J. may end up on a mission to prove his son's innocence. Will E.J. try something like hypnosis to jog his memory and try to get real justice? E.J. could also lie about remembering who the real culprit is if nothing comes back to him. That said, it's going to look awfully convenient if E.J. suddenly points the finger at someone else to save his son without evidence. E.J.'s best hope of helping Johnny is if he recalls something that leads to real proof of the attempted killer. Until then, Johnny may be stuck singing the jailhouse blues and fearing the worst. Over with Stephanie Johnson, she'll have to decide whether she'll move forward with publishing her novel. Stephanie wasn't pleased over Alex Kyriakis giving Kate Roberts Brady the manuscript without her knowledge. The fact that Kate misplaced the manuscript didn't go over well either, since it got passed around the hospital. Nevertheless, Stephanie seemed intrigued over Kate predicting a runaway bestseller. Days spoilers suggest Stephanie may eventually put her concerns aside and decide to just go for it. Other Days spoilers say Tony DiMera will stick to his goal and fight for the DiMera family business. With Titan DiMera vulnerable due to some recent setbacks, this will be a good time for Tony to make some power plays. Xander Kyriakis will move forward with some power plays of his own, both professionally and personally. After another fierce face-off with Xarah Kyriakis, Xander could easily become convinced that a co-parenting compromise isn't possible. Xander hinted about Melinda Trask potentially stepping out of legal bounds to help him, so will he give her the green light to play dirty? Whatever the case, Days spoilers say Xander has some dirty business moves coming up too, so stay tuned for updates on all the drama at Titan DiMera. Next, Sophia Choi will hold out hope that she can lock in an adoptive couple for her baby before his or her arrival. Tate Black claims he still wants this adoption to happen, but Sophia may continue to worry that he'll change his mind. Of course, there could be a total story game changer if someone like Aaron Green is Sophia's baby daddy instead. So we'll bring you more news on any paternity mayhem that might erupt. Days of Our Lives spoilers say some curveballs are ahead in Salem no matter what, so don't miss all the highs and lows. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, June 27th reveal that Rafe Hernandez may get suspicious when he bumps into Kat Green in the park. Kat might be wrapping up a phone call with Shane Donovan now that she's agreed to help investigate E.J. DiMera for the ISA. However, Kat will no doubt cover with Rafe as best as she can, and ultimately meet up with Chad DiMera for dinner. Days spoilers say Chad and Kat will enjoy a fun night of bonding, so we'll see if this might lead to a kiss. Regardless, Kat will be in a tight spot with Chad on Friday's Duel episode. Although Kat will hate deceiving Chad about the EJ investigation, she may keep her mouth shut anyway, since this is official ISA business. Back with Rafe, he'll mull over the updates that Gabi Hernandez just gave him. Gabi's meeting with Johnny DiMera jogged her memory on the voice she heard while outside the DiMera mansion. Now Gabi remembers Johnny was the one fighting with EJ just before he got shot. Days spoilers say Rafe will put that information in the right hands and help pave the way for Johnny's arrest. After Jada Hunter advises Stephanie Johnson regarding her new career as an author, she'll have some important police work to take care of. There'll be enough evidence to arrest Johnny, so Jada will track him down and place him under arrest for EJ's attempted murder. Since this arrest will play out right in front of EJ, he'll be horrified over Johnny getting taken into custody. As for Xander Kyriakis, he'll double down on his Philip Kyriakis agreement. Philip and Xander will stick with their alliance, which means Philip will continue to hide the fact that Xander beat him up. Other Days spoilers say Kate Roberts Brady will have a request for Alex Kyriakis, so this may involve some negotiating when it comes to the publishing gig. Alex will get on board with what Kate wants, but Kate's mind may drift back to revenge in the end. Days of Our Lives spoilers say Kate will remain determined to get payback over what Xander did to Philip, so stay tuned for the bad news that's brewing. Belle's cleaning out dead flowers in the living room when Brady gets home. They talk a bit about the wedding being good for Marlena and all of them, including Rachel. She's been through a lot, Belle notes. You have no idea. Belle feels horrible at the amount of trauma Rachel's gone through recently. Nee. Which is when Brady says that at least Rachel Blake was found, thanks to EJ agreeing to free her after striking a deal. Johnny's rehashing the night EJ got shot, insisting it's his fault, since there was a bullet missing from the gun he brought over. Marlena and Roman insist it's not, but he gets a text reminder of a meeting. Roman tells him to take it. They'll figure this out. After Johnny leaves, Roman and Marlena get to work. Marlena's worried about their grandson, but Roman insists he's doing better. He pulls Marlena in to hug her and reassure her Johnny will be okay. Just as Kate walks in, Roman explains that they just talked to Johnny, and he did take the gun, but didn't shoot EJ. Roman suggests they think about the best approach to help him, then regroup. Kate gently tells Marlena that while they're both there for Johnny, they're both there for her too. After Marlena leaves, Kate says she not only doesn't mind Roman being there for her, but she encourages it. Kate tells John that Johnny needs to talk to a lawyer. Maybe Carrie? John agrees, calls her and leaves a message. He just wishes Johnny had told them earlier. That sucks, yeah. But, as Kate points out, Philip still won't tell her the truth about Xander. It's mutually assured destruction. Because of Philip's con, if one brother goes down, they both do. Roman suggests that since Philip will be fine, it might be best to just drop it. Never. Xander almost killed my son, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure he pays. EJ's yelling at Kayla on the phone, telling her the board already voted. They don't get a do-over because Xander was exonerated. Kayla hangs up on him, then Belle shows up shortly later, wanting to know about EJ's role in Kristen's mom being found. Off the record, EJ and Kristen received an agreement. He says he exchanged using all his resources to find Rachel Blake in exchange for Brady's board vote. Belle's skeptical, so she drops it, and EJ gets into complaining about the hospital board do-over. Belle insists that she'd have Xander in prison if she could, but without Philip, they're stuck. She then breaks the news that the cops know about the camera and that the memory card is missing. She doesn't know how, but the memory card could show who shot him. Sorry, EJ shrugs. He thinks it might be gone for good. Belle's frustrated, but EJ changes the topic to get back to getting frisky, then kisses her. Xarah faces Xander down in the square, where he insists he wants to see Victoria. She won't back down, so he tells her that if they have to fight in court, he'll file for full custody. You can yell as much as you want, but there isn't a judge in their right mind who would let you have full custody. Xander threatens to bring out the big guns if he has to. What does that mean? Hopefully, he says, Xarah won't have to find out. They get into who's trying to keep Victoria from the other, and while neither wants to co-parent, they realize they may have to. After, as Xander puts it, they go to war. They argue more over whether Xander did or didn't beat Philip, and Xander throws her lies back in Sarah's face, their voices rising more and more until Xander's yelling. Maggie rushes over with Julie and yells at Xander to stay the hell away from Xarah. Xarah says Xander wants to fight for custody, and Julie is surprised they aren't back together after him being cleared. But no, Xarah coldly explains. There's no coming back from the trust being broken. She storms off, and Maggie lays into her son-in-law, but as he points out, he was exonerated, which is why the board is re-voting, and maybe he can count on their votes? Maggie tells him she'll vote her conscience, and Julie will vote for what's best for the hospital. Xander looks crestfallen and slinks off, sadly wishing them a lovely day. Julie's confused about why Maggie won't forgive Xander, but Maggie doesn't entirely believe Philip's telling the truth. Marlena runs into Brady as she's leaving the pub. She was just about to call him to talk about Rachel and Johnny. She yells at Brady about why he never told her about this, and she had to learn after Rachel talked in her sleep. Now she, Brady, Kristen, Roman, Kate all know. And EJ, Brady sighs. They both agree that this isn't worth the trauma in Rachel keeping this secret. That's when Marlena realizes EJ thinks Johnny shot him and tells Brady that Johnny insists he didn't pull the trigger. Then who did it? Brady asks. Marlena may not have warm, fuzzy feelings, but he has the right to know his own son didn't try to kill him. Brady thinks it'll help Rachel too. If Johnny comes forward, that'll hopefully keep Rachel from having to testify. Marlena just warns that they should all be careful about not tipping their cards yet. Xarah shows up with Victoria for lunch, and Brady offers to treat them. He goes to get a table, while Xarah tells Marlena her blood work is back. It's totally normal, but Marlena can come to Xarah at any time, as a doctor or friend. Marlena thanks her and leaves. Xarah joins Brady in the pub and asks how Rachel's doing. He says she seems to be feeling better. And a sleepover with Grandma Marlena helped too. In her office, Gabi's yelling at her assistant once again, when Johnny rushes in, apologizing for being late. She wants to reschedule, but Johnny says he dropped something really important to be here. She can make time. He lays into her about how she's the one who's late with this campaign, so she needs to crack down. Geez, Gabi scoffs. What's with the attitude? I thought we were friends. Johnny apologizes and says he's under a lot of pressure, which Gabi understands, so they decide to work together to keep their jobs. They start getting into how they'll make this work with the slashed budget. They'll need a model with no money. Luckily, Johnny has one. Gabi. She tries laughing it off, but Johnny reminds her she used to be the face of Wilhelmina. It's perfect. She can be the name and face of Gabi Schick. They get on to brainstorming themes, and Gabi realizes that Johnny being in charge of Gabi Schick was a great thing. He's so creative. Johnny admits he always thought he'd work in film, but this is kind of fun. Gabi asks how he and EJ are doing, and Johnny says there's a slight thaw, but he's not sure if that'll go farther. Marlena gets home, alone. She tosses her purse aside, looks around, then drops onto the sofa and pulls out her phone. She plays John's last message, hugs her phone and whispers, "I love you too." Brady thanks Xarah for helping with Rachel. She adores Xarah, and he knows how hard it was for Xarah to raise her for a year, then have to give her up. He never told Rachel about it, and Xarah assures him it's okay. There's no reason for her to know. Xander walks in, and Xarah demands to know if he's stalking her. Brady offers to help, but Xarah tells him it's fine, so he goes to check on the order. "It's a public place," Xander says. "Nothing will happen there. May I please see my daughter?" Xarah nods, and Xander rushes over to tell his darling girl how much he loves her, while Xarah smiles from her chair. Belle tells EJ to meet her upstairs in the bedroom after she freshens up, but as soon as she's gone, his face freezes and he stands, looking worried. He thinks back to Johnny pointing the gun at him, finding the memory card and Johnny's threat. Johnny and Gabi are tossing around slogan ideas, but when Johnny mentions one with, "It's what you deserve," Gabi freezes and remembers being at the Dimera mansion the night EJ was shot. She heard Johnny shout, "It's what you deserve!" and EJ telling his son he doesn't want to do this. She asks suddenly if they can reschedule. She's got a headache. And Johnny, surprised, says no problem and leaves. Gabi rushes to her phone and calls Rafe in a panic. She just realized who EJ was arguing with. Johnny, Days of Our Lives spoilers for the week of June 30th, 2025 suggest some curves and bombshells. Fans can expect Johnny Dimera to get arrested. Sophia Choi will become more desperate as her due date gets closer. Plus, Xander Cook Kyriakis and Sarah Horton Kyriakis could play dirty in order to get sole custody. Keep reading, and let's talk about what is coming up in the Peacock soap opera. Let's start off with EJ Dimera. Fans watched as Johnny Dimera confessed to Roman Brady and Marlena Evans. The young man said it felt good to finally be able to tell someone the truth. However, Johnny didn't pull the trigger and handed the gun off to EJ. Later, Johnny could confess to EJ. However, just when the father and son are reconnecting, Jada Hunter shows up. Jada does put the former director under arrest, so expect him to be jailed for a while. That could lead to Chanel Dupree Dimera or even Marlena begging Steve Johnson for help. Steve wanted to shut down Black Patch, but this is John Black's grandson that we are talking about. After Johnny's arrest, Steve could put all his energy into finding the real shooter. Fans might also see Stephanie Johnson face a dilemma. The racy manuscript has gotten around to several people. Unknown to Stephanie, this includes her own parents. Steve even wanted to try some of the tricks in the manuscript, not realizing that their daughter wrote it. However, Stephanie seemed awestruck when Alex Kyriakis told her about Kate Roberts Brady's professional opinion. So, will Stephanie publish it or not? Meanwhile, Tony DiMera could stick to his guns and fight for the family business. Across town, Xander Cook Kyriakis puts his own plan in motion. This could be about Titan DiMera, but there is also a looming custody battle. Xander and Xarah have both been told by their lawyers that the judge will push them to co-parent. Neither intends to do that, though. So, we could see power plays from both Xander and the saintly doctor. There is also the situation with Sophia. Even though the teenager begged Melinda Trask for help, she couldn't do it without Tate Black's approval. Even though Tate will claim he wants the adoption to happen, a lot of people are seeing signs of the opposite. So, will Sophia get devious in order to make the adoption happen, or will Tate convince her to keep the child? Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on Peacock to find out what is coming up next. Days of Our Lives. Spoilers for Thursday, June 26th imply some major moments in Salem. A wife gets jealous, while two exes face off, and a super couple has a massive confrontation. What's set to unravel on Thursday's show? Time to find out. Days of Our Lives, spoilers for Thursday, June 26th, suggest Kate Roberts Brady will be jealous when she sees Marlena Evans bonding with Roman Brady. Of course, the two are locked in turmoil thanks to Rachel Black stating she saw Johnny DiMera shoot her uncle E.J. DiMera. Will Roman fill Kate in on what he knows? Kate may feel that much more insecure, considering John Black was the reason the couple broke up in the first place. Speaking of Johnny, he'll have a brainstorming session with Gabi Hernandez. Sounds like they'll try to come up with a plan to help place Titan DiMera back on track. It'll be Kyriakis versus Kyriakis as estranged married couple. Xander Kyriakis and Sarah Horton Kyriakis clash once again. Duel fans know these two have had their fair share of disputes lately, and as their romance is slowly crumbling, the center of most of the fights is custody of their daughter, Victoria Kyriakis. How ugly will this one get? Fans will have to tune in to find out. Days of Our Lives, spoilers for Thursday, suggest that Belle Black will confront EJ, and this could be the beginning of the end for the super couple. As much as these two try to work things out, something always comes between them, mainly EJ's lies. Will this be a bump in the road for Belle and EJ, or the end of the road? Are you excited about Thursday's show? Comment below. Check out the popular Peacock soap daily for your dose of Salem drama, and visit SOS often for the most up-to-date Days of Our Lives news and spoilers. Days of Our Lives early weekly spoilers for June 30th through July 4th. We're going to talk about Philip Kyriakis scheming and Tony DiMera plotting in a very DiMera way, as we always do on Early Edition Day. We start with what is coming the rest of this week. On Wednesday, June 25th, Roman Brady and Marlena Evans confront Johnny DiMera. I wonder if Roman's going to ask him about the gun, and Marlena is going to ask him about him holding a gun on E.J. DiMera that night. I don't know if she will mention that Rachel Black confessed to her because Marlena promised to keep it secret. So, she may ask questions, but not say where she got the info from. So, I'm wondering what will Johnny say to Roman and Marlena about the night EJ was shot. Are they going to flat out demand to know from Johnny if he tried to kill EJ? Stephanie Johnson is questioning Philip on Wednesday, and I wonder if he's going to tell Stephanie the truth about his pact with Xander Cook, but that he's going to keep the truth hidden. She may accuse Philip of lying for his brother. He dug in his heels and insisted to Belle Black that Xander didn't do it, but I wonder if he might tell Stephanie the truth. He probably should not. Titan DiMera may be in trouble because of Xander's recent arrest, even though the charges dropped. And of course, Philip being beaten was also dodgy front-page news. So Xander comes up with a plan to save their merged companies. So is Philip going to work side by side with Xander to make the combined companies a stronger entity? I think so. Plus, Melinda Trask meets with a desperate Sophia Choi, who is begging Melinda to help her find adoptive parents. She is quite worried about Tate Black wanting to keep the kid, which is a real fear, especially after what he talked to Shane Donovan about on Days of Our Lives. Thursday, June 26th. Kate Roberts smells trouble when she sees Marlena and Roman with their heads together. So, of course, they're talking about their suspicions about Johnny. And I wonder if Kate is going to overhear them talking about Johnny, or maybe misinterpret what she sees when grieving Marlena is close to her husband Roman. So, also this week, Kate is going to vow to Roman that she will find a way to make Xander pay for hurting her precious baby boy, Philip. Belle is going to grill EJ. So, I wonder if she overheard Marlena and Roman talking about Johnny, or maybe one of them went to Belle. But she's going to want some answers. Johnny and Gabi Hernandez do some brainstorming. This is likely at work. They're both accused of shooting EJ, so that could be the topic of conversation. But it could also just be about Titan DiMera and Gabi Cheek, and her concerns with the company being under that combined umbrella. Sarah Horton has another argument with Xander about custody and visitation of Victoria. And Xander hints that he may use Sarah's past mental breakdown against her, like when she kidnapped Rachel from Kristen DiMera and ran off with her, which absolutely would be a terrible thing to do because it was Xander and Victor Kiriakis that did the baby swap that caused her to have that whole nervous breakdown. So, Xander may dig in, though, and fight for sole custody if Sarah doesn't start letting him see his daughter Victoria. Friday, June 27th. Chad DiMera and Kat Green enjoy an evening out together. And she may grill Chad about EJ and where Chad thinks that EJ got the money to buy the hospital. So Kat may be asking these questions to Chad under the guise of their friendship because she's been forced back to working as an ISA analyst by Shane. Although Kat did extract a promise from Shane that this would be her last hurrah with them, and she doesn't want to be back working for them full-time. So Kat also has a chat with Rafe Hernandez this week, and after they talk, he calls someone to say he has more info. So, I wonder if Kat got some dirt about EJ that she shares with Rafe. Alex Kiriakis agrees to something that Kate wants. It could be about this book publishing thing, or it could be about Philip and, maybe Kate wants Alex to promise that he'll protect Philip from Xander. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I just thought it was so gross. Patch was talking about that new sexy thing, that little trick in the bedroom that Caleb pulled because she read it in the book. That book that their daughter wrote. I imagine they would be horrified to know that they were getting sexy time tips from their daughter, because then Patch pointed out something on a different page he wants to try. I think they are all going to be scarred for life when that comes out. So, speaking of Philip and Xander, they make an agreement, and it may be to run Titan DiMera together, protect their dad's legacy, and have each other's back. And I'd like to see them be roommates. They are going to be back on the bromance thing and having each other's backs again soon. They've both done bad things, so they're in a good position to move forward and forgive each other. EJ is worried about Johnny, and he has a valid reason to be concerned, because on Friday, looks like that's when Jada Hunter arrests Johnny. She accuses him of trying to kill his dad, EJ. Father and son are both stunned, and we're left with the question of, did Johnny really do the deed? Jada has some advice for Stephanie, and I wonder if it's personal or if it's about Philip and Xander. The week of June 30th through July 4th, we have got EJ really worried. He doesn't want Johnny to go down for the shooting, but EJ also does seem convinced that Johnny did it. So, I want to see all the footage from that memory card that Rita brought back that he showed to Tony. I want to see for myself if it shows Johnny pulling the trigger on EJ, or just Johnny holding the gun. And maybe EJ was so stressed out watching it, he turned off the recording before it showed actually who did the deal. So with Johnny arrested, that would mean Belle would be prosecuting her nephew Johnny, son of the man she's in love with. So it seems like Belle needs to recuse herself from the case. And I can also see EJ going to Belle and asking her to drop the charges and say that he won't participate in the prosecution. However, if Rachel is indeed saying she witnessed it, she could testify and they wouldn't necessarily even need EJ. Rita did hand over that thumb drive. So, I wonder if Tony's going to look it over. Actually, it was a memory card, and I wonder if Tony is going to view the footage and get some insight that might help his nephew Johnny. Marlena may offer to hypnotize EJ to recover his memories, because some are still spotty. He recalls seeing Johnny with the gun. But does EJ actually remember his son firing the gun? Because we've not seen that. We have seen portions of his memory, but not the actual, bang bang bullet. Philip and Xander make moves to prove they are a united front at Titan DiMera. But Philip may keep struggling with PTSD and nightmares from the brutal beating he took. Tony DiMera has vowed to take back DiMera Enterprises to protect his late father's legacy. So, it looks like he may be a problem for Philip and Xander. Kate continues to plot to ruin Xander and protect Philip, even though he tells her to stop. And Xarah and Xander's breakup gets more acrimonious by the day. But Philip is going to try and heal the rift in their marriage. Marlena may get more signs from John Black from the other side, and look for Tony and Anna DiMera to stick around Salem while other out-of-towners pack up and go. Gwen Rizjek debuts the following Monday on July 7th, and Hurricane Sammy Brady is showing up in Salem soon, and she may be there to pay tribute to John in her own way, and may want to protect her son Johnny from this murder accusation. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, June 27th, demonstrate that neither brother needs to take offense when there is money to be made. Xander found out he was Victor's son and heir, just in time for newfound half-brother Philip to pop up with yet another will, this one giving him daddy's company. The two agreed to share, but then Xander found out Philip lied, so he beat him into a coma. Philip woke up, and Sarah looked forward to him pointing the finger at Xander so Sarah could win custody of Victoria. But Philip didn't. He and Xander have an understanding. They'll keep each other's secrets, as long as it makes them both money. Johnny was mad enough at EJ to try and kill him, but now he's worried about his dad. It would have been so much easier if EJ were dead. Sure, Johnny would have been guilty of murder, but at least he wouldn't have had to worry about his dad protecting him. Or not protecting him. Whatever EJ does, Johnny is going to be angry, and he's going to let him know it. Shane ordered Kat to spy on the DiMeras so he could bring down their evil criminal empire. Shane wants to bring down EJ, but Kat is hanging out with Chad. Does she think that counts? Stephanie continues to look for problems in her relationship with Alex. Jada, who isn't exactly an expert at relationships, remember Bobby, gives her advice. Meanwhile, Alex strikes a deal of his own with Kate. These two aren't exactly on the same page. Maybe Stephanie is onto something? Even though Gabi was super reluctant to work with Johnny, who initially gave Gabi some serious attitude, things progressed nicely. However, things took a turn by the time the cliffhanger rolled around in the Thursday, June 26th episode of Days of Our Lives. While the scheduled meeting had a rough start, Gabi and Johnny ended up bouncing ideas off each other beautifully. It was their task to brainstorm marketing ideas for Gabi Chic's holiday campaign. But the real reason the two needed to be in the same vicinity was for Gabi to realize it was Johnny she heard arguing with EJ the night the DiMera was shot and wounded. And what did Gabi do? She pretended to get a headache, rescheduled their meeting, and quickly ran to her phone to call Rafe to tell him what she had concluded. And that must be why Jada approaches Johnny and tells him he's under arrest in this week's Days video preview. Around the same time, EJ has a flashback of him watching the memory stick footage, seeing Johnny pointing the gun straight at him, and then he flashes back on the incident himself. But he still doesn't have any recollection of Johnny shooting the gun. With this Gabi snitch development, those hoping to protect Johnny will have a more difficult time doing their job. Roman, Marlena, and Kate decided to team up and figure out their next moves. EJ looked shaken, but there's no way he wants Johnny to take the rap for this, even if he did do it. Does Rafe tell Jada about Gabi's realization? Is that how the cops get wind of Johnny and EJ's argument? Isn't it time for someone to let Chanel in on this? Back when it first happened, she suspected that Johnny might have gone this far because he was so angry. Who else will show up in the footage from Rafe's spy cam? Anyone we don't know about yet? Are Xander and Sarah headed for a full-blown custody battle? How dirty will Xander get? Who do you think will win vote number 2 for the right to purchase Salem University Hospital? We know Carrie left town after Andrew and Paul's wedding, but what about the others? Are we to assume most of those who returned are gone? Asking because we need more clarification on Eric and Nicole's shaky status as a couple. Days of Our Lives spoilers photos for the June 27th, 2025 episode tease a memorable moment for Xander. It looks like it's going to be an emotional day in Salem as Marlena remains grief-stricken over John and Roman, and Kate worry about Johnny. Later, Marlena and Brady will run into Sarah and Victoria at the pub, where she'll allow Xander a moment with his daughter. Meanwhile, it looks like Brady may confront his sister about something. Could it be Belle's decision to pursue a relationship with EJ? Got a sizzling fan theory? Email news@soaphub.com. Yours could be our next hot topic. Days of Our Lives faced a major casting crisis when Billy Flynn announced he was leaving his front-burner role of Chad DiMera and defecting to The Young and the Restless, where he's now playing the new Kane Ashby. But after months of searching, auditioning, and a few screen tests, the show has found the actor to replace him, and Connor Floyd is the perfect choice to play Chad. Getting your training on the #1 soap Y&R bodes well for Floyd, who portrayed Philip Chance, Chancellor Thurfor, from 2021 to 2025. During his 4-year stint, he learned the daytime ropes and worked with some of the industry's biggest stars from Eric Braeden to Michelle Stafford. That experience will pay off mightily. Floyd knows the drill, so there will be no adjusting to the fast-paced genre, nor will he be intimidated by sharing the screen opposite Day's bigwigs like Dan Feuerriegel, all of which will allow him to hit the ground running as Chad. And let's not forget that he's also appeared in several independent films and TV movies like Malicious Motives, A Kiss on Candy Cane Lane, and Help Wanted. Once news of Floyd's casting broke, fans immediately began commenting about his resemblance to Flynn. The two actors are similar in stature. They also both have blue eyes, wavy brown hair, and close-cropped beards. The likeness should help viewers acclimate to Floyd's version of the character since he totally looks the part, and make it a lot easier for them to accept him as the new Chad. On Y&R, Floyd's Chance was the son of Philip Chancellor III, the wealthy heir to Chancellor Industries. On Days, he's playing the son of the late Stefano DiMera, a multi-millionaire who amassed his fortune via legitimate businesses and criminal activities. Once again, Floyd's playing a man with rich family ties. Yet, like Chance, Chad has always chosen to lead a simpler, down-to-earth life. The two characters share that intrinsic quality, and Floyd has proven that he knows how to play it well. Finally, Floyd spent the last 4 years playing a heroic cop on Y&R, dedicated to solving crimes and protecting the citizens of Genoa City. On Days, he's playing a man who bucked the family business and its questionable ties to pursue an honest living as co-owner of the local paper, The Spectator.